Welcome back to Melody Loves Death Metal. Happy Wednesday. Figured let's talk about some tapes today. I've got a huge queue of tapes back there, as you can see stacked up on my speaker for my cassette player of tapes that I've gotten in the last month or so that I have just not really sat down and listened to yet. Like the holes on my tape rack are all empty because that's where those belong. But I got a ton of tapes in from Headsplit Records. I put in these are two different separate orders. He threw in two free tapes from my last order, which is awesome. Thank you so much. Like I don't ever expect that, but every once in a while, Dylan goes out there and he sends over some free stuff to me after I do a couple orders. So, but I have not talked about any of these on the channel, and it's been a while since I've shown off tapes. So I figured let's do a tape collection update today. But they just so happen to be all from Headsplit Records. Most of these are still available on the website. You can still go buy them. Some of these I'm about to show are definitely sold out, and that's because I'm just using them as a point of reference to show you, because I don't think I've ever shown them off on the channel. But links will always be in the description where you can go find these and listen to them. It's a lot. There's a lot here, so it's gonna be a longer episode. If you're not familiar with Headsplit Records, it's one of my favorite underground metal labels. He doesn't just press death metal; it's grindcore, gore grind, speed, thrash, death doom. Like it's all within that range. Um, just consistent flow of new releases, a lot of underground stuff that I've never heard of. And most of the time, it puts these bands on the map, and they end up getting signed by other labels and stuff like that. And I would say some of my Headsplit record releases that I've had in my collection, my tape collection, are probably some of my most sought after and collectible tapes from like the collecting standpoint. Some of them have just been sold out and have never been printed again, and people sell them for stupid prices on Discogs. And I've had several messages on Discogs being like, "Hey, I see that you have this in your collection. Are you willing to trade or sell it?" And most of the time, it's like, "Hell no." But every once in a while, if it's something that they tempt me with, but so yeah, this is one of my favorite labels. I've talked about them several times on here. This is not the first time I've ever made a video on Headsplit. But like I said, I just got so much in the last like month that I figured I would just do a whole Headsplit Records video. Next week is going to be another Iron Fortress video because there's about 10 tapes that I've gotten from him the last like month, and even more Friday because I'm as soon as the Gore Embraced tape goes live, I'm going to order that with a couple of other new releases that have come out in the last like 2 weeks. Dude, Ben, do you ever sleep? Like, the amount of releases that just get pumped out weekly by Iron Fortress is insane. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, the very first thing I wanted to talk about is by far one of my most anticipated releases to come out this year. And that is because this is by far one of my favorite Death Doom bands right now. In terms of modern Death Doom. The last three demos that have been put out over the last couple of years are some of my most favorite releases that have come out in recent years. And of course, I got all the Headsplit record demos. So I figured I'd show that up. And yes, we're talking about Putridarium. Their first official full-length album comes out officially on Friday, November 1st. But this is already shipping. So if you've pre-ordered this on Headsplit, you're already getting it. Necrologia del Sedum... experts from a deranged mind. Yeah, there you go. If you're not familiar with who Putridarium are, they are from Germany, which I was, for some reason, thought they were from Spain, but I was confusing them with who somebody else I'm going to be talking about today. This is like I said, their first full length album, Headsplit Records. I believe there's a CD version of this. Is it Night Terror Records? I don't remember who's doing it. I'll link in the description where you can order these. But this is Death Doom. The first three demos I will show you first before I talk about this. So I showed off, I think, this one a while ago when I first got it. This is the first 2021 demo called just Putrefaction. And this was on Headsplit Records as well. White tape. And this is very much your standard demo sound. Production's not that great. Mix is kind of off, but it is very, very good, like murky, swampy filthy sounding death doom. And this is the first time I had ever heard them. And really made me a fan of them. Like, this is a sound that I tend to like to chase in regards to that demo sound, especially from the death doom perspective. So they released this back in 2021, and I know that this is relatively hard to find because it's out of print. I've seen this selling for stupid prices on Discogs before. I actually just found a copy of this for like $12, and I bought it for a friend of mine who I talked about yesterday, VCLT Brandon. I sent him a package of stuff. So he's getting this in there because he needs more Putridarium in his life. The second demo was in 2022 called Morbification. There you go. Again, just a plain white tape. This is also very, very good. Both of these demos are 3 tracks. This actually is what really kind of sealed the deal for me here. I was like, yep, I really, really like this band. This is some of the filthiest death doom out there right now, and I like my death metal and my death doom to be filthy sounding, murky, and just not the overall best sounding production. I think that's what makes death doom some of the best underground death metal sound. I was looking for the cover. Parker Ewan is who did the cover for that. I like that artwork. I think it's cool. So that was the second demo. Again, I don't know if I showed off these demos when I got them back in my Death Metal Tape Tuesday series that I did, but I'm showing them now just for reference. And then the final third demo, Dissemination, I can never say that, from 2022. This is probably my favorite of the 3, to be honest with you. I think some of these might have gotten double pressing. I don't remember what pressings these were. I think this might have been a reissue. I can't remember. J-card, band, lyrics on the other side. Cool artwork. The artwork from this was, Shoggoth Kinetics, Lucas Court. So, yeah, he's an awesome artist. And then the tape, same style of artwork on there. So those were the demos that got me introduced to Putridarium. I will link all these in the description where you can go listen to them. But now it's 2024. They did a couple of splits in between there with Ancient Death. And I can't remember the other one. But now we've got the first full length out, and this did not disappoint. This is your standard, well, I wouldn't say standard. It's your Death Doom, gory, dark, filthy sounding Death Doom. And if you really, really enjoy that style of death metal, you're going to enjoy this. It's just so good. I am really, really, really happy with this. It's a fun listen. It's quick. It doesn't make you, wish you were listening to something like speedy or anything like that. Sometimes these death doom bands can be a little bit boring, to be honest with you, where they just don't really click right away. There just isn't much to unpack. It's just kind of the same repetition across the board throughout the whole entire album. This, on the other hand, is not that case. Like, this is by far in my opinion, the best modern death doom band right now in the scene. And yes, I was right. Night Terror Records is also doing a cassette tape version of this, like a VHS packaging style. So for some of you people out in the other half of the world there, you'll be able to get that through Night Terror. I'm not sure if that's up for pre-order yet, but I'll link it in the description. So here's your J-card. The artwork is by... Where did it go? Altars of Worms. I'm not too sure who that is. I'll have to go look that up on Instagram. But yeah, cool artwork. It reminds me Impetigo. Reminds me a little bit of an Impetigo cover, as well as like Fulci, Tenebro, those types of horror movie covers. But yeah, this is really good. It's pretty much like a horror, basically. It's a horror movie. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, but it is very, very good. Perfect timing to be released this weekend around Halloween. This is definitely a good Halloween soundtrack for sure. So, Headsplit Records, again, links will be in the description. I love Putridarium. I was really excited to get this. I'm glad that I got it. I do hope it gets a vinyl treatment. I have not seen yet if it will or who will do it. But if it does, 100% going to be getting that. So, yeah, there we go. So I figured I'd pull out the demos for a reference. to show you. But now we've got a bunch of new releases here. These are all different styles of metal. We've got something for everybody in this stack. It's not just all straightforward death metal. And that's what I love about Headsplit. They have a very wide variety of extreme metal that you can buy from, and just it touches on everybody's different styles that they like. So the first one is this, another Death Doom. I absolutely love this. It's only 3 tracks. It's an EP, or sorry, 2 tracks. Hold on, I think it's 2 tracks. Yeah. I don't know why I said 3. I can't count. But yeah, this band is called Crucification. So I thought I had the notes up. I guess I don't. Let me pull it up right now. I just want to make sure I get the right. Got it. Okay, yeah, Spain. Yeah, okay, this is it. Okay, Crucification. Yeah, Spain. This is the one that I was confusing with Putridarium. So, Entrails Melting Above the Colossal Ossuary, demo 2024. So this one, I actually listened to it on the Headsplit Records YouTube page before I bought this, because it looked like something just based off of the cover art. It looked familiar, and I was like, that cover art looks oddly familiar. That's got to be the same style of music, I'm assuming. And upon listening to this and figuring out who was in this band, my suspicions were correct. So this is death metal with a lot of Death Doom influences in it. Very murky and very heavy and crushing. Oh, but my God, is it good? Yeah, it's 3 tracks. It is so good. Just really made me feel like I was listening to waves of incantation, and even in the modern era of like the northwest sound of Mortiferum and those style of bands. Like, there's definitely a really good blend of that. So when I was looking into this band to see, like, these guys have got to be in other projects. There's just got to be. And it turns out I was right. So Necrohelm, who did the artwork for this, is actually Mark. And Mark is also in several other bands that I've talked about on here in the past. And I even did an album like premiere on my channel. And that is Exhumation on Iron Fortress. And then Troll Cave, which I should have pulled that tape. I didn't pull it. But Troll Cave has a new album coming out on MSUO. I think that comes out tomorrow. And then this one, notably, my favorite so far that he has done is Sanctuarium, Into the Mephitic Abyss, which was awesome. This is an awesome album that was put out 2 years ago. I can't remember. Let's find it, shall we? We don't edit these things. Sanctuarium, here we go. This was in 2023. They have a new album coming out this year as well, so I'm really looking forward to it. But this is, again, another one of my favorite modern death metal bands. So he's in a bunch of different bands, and it made sense because you could just, that sound was eerily similar, not the same, but just crushing and so good. So I'm convinced that anything that Mark does, he masters it at this point in regards to the death metal style. There's also another member in here who does the vocals. He goes by Crucifier. He's in a bunch of other bands too. Some of them I'm not too familiar with, but they both are guys that tend to not sleep, it seems, in regards to playing music. But also, upon listening to this, there's another release that Headsplit Records had out with this year, I believe. Yeah, it was this year. That is sold out. I can't find it anywhere. Nobody has it in stock. I'm hoping it gets a repress. And that is Cauterized Torso. That's more of like a death grind. So fucking good. And that is Mark's death grind project. So that's also on Headsplit. So if anybody has a copy of that tape that you have in a distro or anything like that, please let me know, because I've been looking. I have it on my want list on Discogs. Nobody has put it up for sale yet. I'm hoping Headsplit represses. I should just message him and ask if he will. But yeah. So Crucification is very, very good. So he has a ranging variety of projects that he does. This one is a little bit more of a straightforward, like murky sounding death metal, whereas like these are different variances. And then Cauterized Torso is also like death grind. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. Check this out. I think you'll enjoy it as well, especially if you're familiar with Exhumation that I talked about on this channel before and premiered their full length as well as Sanctuarium. If you're a fan of those bands, you'll really, really enjoy this too. So this is the demo that's out on Headsplit. It's still available. It has not sold out yet. Like I said, link will be in the description of where you can find this and listen to everything. Admittedly, I don't have the digital downloads for most of these releases, and that's because I got a new laptop about 2 months ago, and I have not merged all of my music over from my old laptop. And usually, if I'm doing something pretty underground like this, I try to do sound clips in there into the video, but I am just lazy. I haven't merged any of my digital stuff over. So, but again, links will always be in the description. This is the other big release right now that I think is just making waves. Everybody, I feel like within my like underground scene that I'm in, that's not what I meant to say. Within my like friend group of of underground metal that we like tend to talk about all the time, this is the one that has been making a lot of, like, we've talked about it several times. I've been seeing it circulating on Instagram and Twitter and like just people talking about it, and that is Viscera Infest with Teratoma. Quite the interesting album cover. I know I'm not the first person to show this off in the vinyl community or the YouTube death metal community. I've seen it. Like I said, I've seen it. And this is a band from Japan, and as you can probably tell, it's gore grind. It's got that death gore grind, grindcore insanity to it. Admittedly, as everybody knows, and I've mentioned that here, gore grind is a very hit or miss thing for me. I don't always really enjoy it. Sometimes I just get bored with it because it does tend to sound similar across the board, or it just is not as engaging. But every once in a while, a couple of bands come through that just blow my mind, and this was one of them. How I got into this, though, is when I saw this was released, I think the Huang Quan, I can never say, out in China, I think they also pressed this on vinyl. I think, and so that's out there too. But I saw this album circulating on social media, and I kind of was like, yeah, that's definitely some gore grind, and kind of just skipped over it. But then somebody posted a reel of them playing live, and I watched it, and that was when I was sold. Wow, what a live show these guys put on. Like, it is so fun. And that drummer is insane. He's insane. I was just sold immediately. As soon as I watched it, I went to Headsplit and I ordered this with a couple of other releases. I was shocked it hadn't been sold out yet. So this is actually their third full-length album, so I'm late to the party here. Nice yellow tape here. And it turns out their bassist is also in the band Fester Decay, who put out one of my favorite releases last year in Everlasting Spew. So the Japanese gore grind scene is very strong. A lot of bands are coming out of there. So here is the J card. Here are the Madmen here. So if you're just really itching for some new chaotic, disgusting, filthy, but yet very talented and just insane playing, this is definitely right up your alley. You should definitely check it out. This surprised me with how much I really enjoyed this. Again, the gore grind stuff tends to be a little bit hit or miss for me, but not this. In fact, I am probably going to get this on other formats because I'm a huge fan of this. So definitely going to be on my year-end list for sure. And I need to go back and check out their other albums. So definitely check this out. Like I said, there's some of everything in this episode today. So that was one. In that same order was this. This is actually a reissue of an album that I missed out on last year. So this came out last year. And this is the Stenched demo 2023. Gorging on Mephitic Rot. But they did an album cover swap. This is an alternate album cover. The other one was just like this plain green cover, but this was one of my favorite EPs that came out last year, or sorry, demos that came out last year. I featured it in my year-end favorite EPs and demos list. This is a one-man death metal machine from Mexico. It was pressed on MSUO for the vinyl, and then which also he has a full length that's coming out this year on MSUO as well. That actually doesn't come out for another couple more weeks. Have that on pre-order. It's coming. It's very good. I got the promo for it. I've been listening to it. But this demo is really, really good. This is just this is filthy death metal. Like, Stenched, think that gives it away. Filthy, disgusting death metal. And this sold out, was hard to find everywhere, but finally Headsplit reissued it on tape again with an alternate album cover. So, yeah. So I picked this up immediately as soon as I saw it was available. This is one that I've been hunting ever since last year. I slept on it. I didn't get it as fast as I should have last year. But I definitely have been listening to this a lot. I think I bought the digital version of it just so I could listen to it on Bandcamp because I don't know if it's on streaming services. It wasn't when I was looking for it back then. So really, really good. Highly recommend if you're into that filthy, murky, disgusting sounding death metal. You'll really enjoy this. So Stenched. This came out in June of last year. I just remember that now. So, and then in that same exact order that I did, I picked this up. I showed off another vinyl version of this. Not this particular, but their first full length, Handed to Execution. I showed off that vinyl, but I picked up the new 2024 EP for Phantom, Transylvanian Nightmare. I can't think of anything else now whenever I hear Transylvanian of just the YouTuber, the Transylvanian. We won't go there, but just always in my head. So this is speed thrash metal, blackened speed thrash metal. Their first album is really, really good. I showed off that vinyl pressing a couple weeks ago from Adirondack Black Mass. Red trans tape here. And this, again, continuing on to be very, very good. This is really good. Phantom is an awesome new band. Also from Mexico. And it's just got your... There you go. It's that side. Here's the band. So you know exactly what you're getting when you just see that. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. What you're getting with that band promo and then the lyrics on this side. So this is awesome. I've been wanting to pick this up too. Made sure to put that into the order once I did. So this is also still available. Definitely check this out if you're into that speedy thrash style of music. You'll really, really enjoy this. Very, very good. And then finally, in that same order, this is another one that I've been putting off on getting. I was going to pick up the vinyl because it's been out there. I think it was Stygian Blackhand that put the vinyl on. I might be wrong about that. Or Gods of War. I can't remember. I'm blanking. Sorry. But then I saw Headsplit at the tape, and I was like, perfect. I'm going to throw this in the same order. And that is Primitive Warfare with, what the heck is this called again? Extinction Protocol. Yeah, so this was making waves in the social media scene when it came out. This actually came out a little while ago, back in May. And I listened to it. I liked it, but for whatever reason, it didn't do much for me when I first heard it that first time around. I just wasn't in the mood for like that blackened death metal, war metal sound at that time. I think I was just, I don't know, I wasn't feeling it just yet. But then I started listening to it on Bandcamp. Like, it was always popping up. It was trending on like every extreme metal tag on Bandcamp and just seeing it. And so I finally went back and listened to it again. And yeah, this is nutty and chaotic. Like, this definitely is a morning pick-me-up, which is what I did today. I listened to this morning because I could not wake the fuck up. So yeah, it is your blackened death metal. Definitely heavy on the black metal side. There's a lot of black metal influences in there, in that war metal vein. But it's crushing and heavy, and it's not as like super aggressive, abrasive, and noisy as like Antichrist Siege Machine. This is a little bit more clarity within the sound. Like I said, it has more of that black metal sound to it as well. It is very, very good. This is definitely a lot of people's top releases this year. I've seen a lot of high praise for it. They're from the US. Their first full length. They had a demo out a couple of years ago, or several years ago. Never heard it, so I'm new to this band. Upon further looking into it, it's two members I don't really recognize, except for Demiser, the other bands that they're in. But yeah, there's the tape, and then the J card. And this vinyl record, if you'd rather have the vinyl record, if you know what this is, like it's definitely out there. I've seen it on like Meteor Gem has it and other outlets. I think NWN maybe too. I don't know. But yeah, there you go. Your classic war metal, black metal, war metal promo shots there. And then on the other side, right there. But this is also still available on Headsplit. I was surprised by that because this was selling like hotcakes on other formats. So pick it up before it's gone because I know it'll sell out as soon as people start to realize it's there. So yeah. And then the final two things I have are what Dylan threw in for free when I made my Putridarium order for the newest album. He threw these in for free because they came out, coming out, I think probably tomorrow too, or Friday. I mean, not tomorrow. And they're two of his newest releases. No, they've been out for a while actually. And I didn't hear them. I'd never heard them. I saw that he released them, and I tend to go in waves of where he releases several new things that I've never heard of, and then I go and I listen to them, and if I like them, I order them. But I hadn't heard these yet. So he threw in the new Vitriolic album, Black Steel Vengeance, that he just released. This came out back on October 11th. This is a Finnish blackened speed metal band, and was not familiar with them. They have one other full-length out that I have never heard. So he threw this in there, this is awesome. I'm a huge fan of this. I love blackened speed metal. Like, I love it. And I tend to really go all in whenever I'm listening to it. And this is definitely one of those albums that is very good. Just amazing riffs, man. So much fun. And if you're a blackened speed metal fan, you'll really enjoy this. So thank you for that. Got a nice new release here. I actually am going to listen to this again today because I really enjoyed it yesterday. When I'm in the mood, I'm in the mood. Definitely, there you go. That's an awesome promo shot. I mean, really cool band photo. So this is really good. Definitely check this out if you're into that style of music. Like I said, there's something for everybody on this episode today. And then the other tape that he tossed in was Scumripper, which another band that I'm not familiar with. For a Few Fixes More is what this is called. And this is really, this is just dirty black and death thrash with a little bit of black metal influences to it, just a tiny bit, not as very much. Oh, it's just so filthy sounding and just disgusting and just like yeah, I mean, look at this album cover, like you kind of just gauge that. I was reading the write-up on Headsplit. It says Finland's degraded, oh yeah, they're from Finland. Fiend Scumripper are finally back. For almost a decade, they've witnessed the world burn through a sewer hole. Truth on that. And felt the slime gather in their burnt to a fuck throats. This is a very slimy death thrash album. Now they are ready to rip out your spines with their sophomore album For a Few Fixes More. The group's second installment in their frothing trilogy presents the band's notorious riff, needlework, thrashing, and grinding. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a grindy sound to it but very good riffs. It's a very fun album. And just when you thought they have ended up in the nearest gutter, Scumripper are performing a long-awaited autopsy with integrity of the modern world. Yes. Whoever writes these is pretty awesome. But yeah, so orange printed tape with a sticker, and then a J card. When I saw this, I'm like, oh, is this Stoner Doom? No, not even remotely close. Judging an album by its cover doesn't always go that way in terms of metal music. Not even close to Stoner Doom. So yeah, there you go. That's the band. So this was good. I really enjoyed. This is fun. This is definitely fun. Just like I said, it's slimy and nothing pretty about this album, but it is very good. Awesome riffs, thrashing death metal. So definitely check this out. There's even a little bit of a punky sound to it as well. Which I tend to enjoy when that gets thrown into like these death thrash albums. I'm not a huge punk fan by any means. It's not a genre that I've ever followed, but I do like a little bit of that added in there. It just gives a nice little variance to it. So yeah, that's my massive Headsplit Records tape episode. A lot of new stuff here. Again, all the links will be in the description where you can go check this out. Most of these are still available, except for those Putridarium ones. The demos that I showed you, those are definitely sold out. But you might be able to get lucky and find them on Discogs or something. But sometimes people are selling them for steeper prices, so just a heads up. And then, of course, this one, Mark, awesome. Yeah, so a lot of good stuff here. I absolutely love Headsplit Records. Do not sleep on them, especially if you're a tape collector. He also presses CDs and vinyls for a couple of, mostly CDs for most of the releases that he's doing. And then several vinyl, and then other apparel and stuff like that too. It's not just tapes. It's not just, but he's known for the tape releases. So, yep, that's all I have. I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Yeah. And I will see you in the next one.